Jon Roland, and I am the Libertarian nominee for Texas Attorney General, with website at jonroland.org. I added a little org to my label here so you can see it. In Texas, the executive branch is divided among several independent officials. The Attorney General does not report to the governor. The governor has no power over any of the other agencies except the office of the governor. The job of the Attorney General in his office is to serve as the lawyer for the state. We go to court to represent the state, and we give advice to other state agencies in the form of Attorney General opinions, which have come over time, although they have no constitutional status, to have the effect of court rulings that are treated as binding by the various agencies. Now, my background is not that of a lawyer. I'm a legal historian, which is better than a lawyer. My professional career has been that of a computer professional. My degree is in mathematics from the University of Chicago. I served as an Air Force officer, honorably discharged. Then I spent a couple of years in Washington working for various causes and getting to know Congress intimately. I volunteered as a kind of independent lobbyist and learned how the Congress works from the inside. And one of the things that I did while I was there is review legislation. The members of Congress, even then, had to spend most of their time raising money to win the next election. Most of their staff members didn't understand the legislation that he was supposed to vote on. And so the lobbyist became the principal expert advisor to members of Congress, and often on subjects quite different from what they're paid to be there to do. They get access by helping members on their favorite subjects. Now, in my campaign, I have several key issues. The main one that I've been emphasizing is local public corruption. It is far more serious and more pervasive and more entrenched than most people realize. In fact, it has become so entrenched that many people simply take it for granted. It's the normal way of doing things. You consider it normal, for example, that contracts, when they're sent out for proposals, are written so that only somebody's brother-in-law can qualify. This is the kind of thing that goes on all the time. But now we have a new kind of corruption. Of course, not really completely new. It's been going on for decades, but now it's becoming especially serious. What's happening in Mexico is spreading to the United States. Plata o plomo. The drug cartels are trying not just to make money selling drugs, but to assert sovereignty over that country. They're shutting down government and assuming the functions of government, at least the ones that benefit them. And that is spreading in the United States. Along the counties of our southern border, along transshipment corridors, across and into the United States, and in our inner cities, the organized criminals are asserting de facto sovereignty. They're squeezing out the normal processes of government. And that becomes a critical area for attention by the Texas Attorney General. And I tell you that my opponents, the Republican and Democrat alike, are mostly blithely unaware of the seriousness of this problem. They even contribute to it. One of the functions of the Attorney General is to engage in such cases as the termination of parental rights, juvenile detention, and restraining orders. Why do they do that? Why isn't it left to local government? Well, that's because the federal government provides money for those things. When a child is removed from his parents, there's about $35,000 to $50,000 that's being split up between lawyers, social workers, medical workers, and even the judge. And the Texas Attorney General's office is dumping a lot of those cases preferentially in one county, Williamson County, just to the north of Austin, where they rubber stamp them. What typically happens is that the state or the county will get a big hunk of money at the beginning of the fiscal year. They'll spend the money, and by the time at the end of the fiscal year, they're starting to look for cases that they can take on to justify the expenditures. So they go out looking for kids to take away from their parents, whether the parents are bad or not. I've had people tell me that they are afraid to run, especially for judicial positions at the local level, because they're afraid of retaliation. And a couple of them even said they're concerned that their kids will be taken away from them if they run against the incumbents. That's how bad it's gotten. So, as Attorney General, what I would be doing is opening grand juries to complaints from private citizens. Right now, in almost every jurisdiction, if you as an ordinary citizen want to go to your grand jury, how do you do it? First of all, you're going to have trouble finding out who the grand jury is. If you try to bring a complaint to them, the chances are the DA is going to say, wait a minute, you can't just go in and talk directly to the grand jury. You have to file your complaint with us, and we'll take it to the grand jury. Of course, lots of that. There's also a problem that in many, especially urban jurisdictions, the grand jury gets less than 10 minutes to decide each case, generally criminal cases. They dump a whole bunch of indictments on them, and they wind up just rubber stamping them because that's all they had time to do. Grand juries are supposed to be able to investigate public problems, not just handle indictments. And they're supposed to be open to the general public. Well, as Attorney General, I would open grand juries to the general public. I would make sure that grand juries are selected at random and aren't just cronies of the judge or the sheriff. And I would make sure that if the DA did not do his job as response to what the grand jury found, that a special prosecutor would be appointed to carry that ball. So these are some of the kinds of things that I would be doing as Attorney General. One of the things I would not be doing is what was done in the last round of redistricting, where the Attorney General defended the Republican plan for redistricting of Congress. I appeared as an intervener. That is a third party to litigation. It was not associated with one of the other parties. There were a bunch of Republicans, parties, there were a bunch of Democrat parties, each of them jockeying to get his favorite map. Then I came in as an intervener to propose an independent, statesman-like solution, which is to turn over redistricting to the computers and keep the people out of it. So this gives you some idea of what I've been up to. One last thing in my 30 seconds. I've been appearing as a witness before the State Board of Education. As a result of that, one of the things that happened is that a textbook, American government textbooks, used since 1950, that have been teaching throughout that time that it's okay to have informal amendments to the Constitution. I got that textbook changed. So it no longer teaches that. Thank you.